A deadly mist has taken over the world, killing millions. People are struggling to survive, but hope is fading. The mist is a cruel killer, leaving nothing but sorrow behind. Will anyone be left to mourn the loss of our world? The film begins with an aircraft in a dense, misty environment, where a voice announcement is heard. James Winter is announcing on the island that he has survival equipment to help people. The world has been affected by a thick mist that has made survival difficult, and many people have died. Cora then takes a shower, goes to her room, and turns on all the lights, exhaust, and computers. She then talks to a machine through the computer, which provides her with weather updates and instructions. However, she is unable to get any information about the data center. Cora then takes out supplements from the freezer and eats. To stay fit, she exercises and works out. To freshen up her mind, she watches motivational videos and reads books. The next morning, Cora gets ready, puts on her duty costume like a soldier, takes her revolver from warm storage, and puts on a bag and safety mask. She then exits the room, covering the tunnel with a pass cover. As she walks through the misty environment, she climbs a ladder and exits through a tunnel, which is located in a girder. There is a lot of scrap metal and iron material. Cora cannot be seen from afar due to the thick mist, which has created a critical situation where human life is impossible. She then walks to a garage where she finds a house. She enters the house, pointing the gun in her hand, and searches the house, but finds no one. However, she discovers a secret door in the floor, which leads to a tunnel. Cora opens the door and finds a tunnel filled with dirty water and dead bodies. She then exits the house. As she walks further, she finds a tower and climbs the stairs to the top room. There she finds Tim, her colleague, sitting in front of the computer with his head down. However, when Cora approaches him, she finds that Tim has died due to a gunshot wound. Tim's head was bleeding profusely, and blood had congealed around him with splatters of blood everywhere. Cora finds a suicide note on the table which reveals that Tim was frustrated with the situation and felt abandoned as no one came to help him. He could not save the world alone and decided to end his life. Cora tries to contact the headquarters using the radio phone but fails. She gets frustrated and throws the phone as she doesn't know what she can do now in such a critical situation. Cora decides to head to the headquarters, which is a day's journey away. She exits the tower and walks through the misty environment. As she walks, Cora finds a place called the Vista and enters a hall, where she finds broken glass cabinets and a desolate atmosphere. Cora exits the hall and sits down to remove her shoes and tend to her sore feet. The mist has made her feet cold and painful. Then Cora gets up and starts walking. She looks around and finds several cars. However, due to the situation, they have been abandoned as they have been unused for centuries. Cora gets up and walks through the jungle, where she finds an old, abandoned car. She enters the car and falls asleep. When she wakes up, she finds a robotic dinosaur outside the car window, which startles her. However, she thinks that it might be a robotic drone device sent to investigate her presence. Cora exits the car and starts walking. She finds an old broken tank and decides to hide beneath it as she sees people approaching from afar. Cora hides beneath the tank and watches as the people search the area. They eventually leave, and Cora emerges from her hiding spot. As she walks further, Cora finds a rocky cliff and starts climbing down. She finds the Upper Sky Hall. On the main gate of the Upper Sky, after scanning her identity, Cora enters a heavily fortified gate that leads to a world with fresh air, free from the deadly mist. The structure is designed with jarred technology, making it possible to breathe easily. As Cora explores the area, she finds various machinery and equipment, including a drone camera. Further ahead, she sees digital safety masks on screens. However, upon checking the computers, she discovers that all system files have been deleted, and the mission to defeat the mist has been terminated. Cora is shocked and feels betrayed. wondering if the soldiers, including herself, were sent to the island to die under the pretext of the mist. She expresses her frustration and anger. Suddenly, some people arrive, including a man, a woman, and a boy. Cora points her gun at them, but they seem amused. The man approaches Cora, but she shoots him in the leg. However, he continues to attack her, and Cora is forced to kill him. The woman, enraged, attacks Cora, who shoots her in the chest. The boy flees in fear. Cora escapes, and as she runs, she meets a girl named Blake, who is dressed in a proper uniform and safety mask. Blake introduces herself and challenges Cora to a fight. Cora ignores her and tries to leave, but Blake attacks her. Cora stabs Blake in the stomach and tries to escape. However, she is caught by two men who subdue her and tie her up. Blake, despite being injured, continues to taunt Cora. Another girl arrives and injects Cora to render her unconscious. When Cora regains consciousness, she finds herself tied to a chair in a hall, without her uniform and mask, with Joseph sitting in front of her, who hates the agency for which Cora works. Joseph explains that he was denied a position in the company years ago, despite his qualifications. Cora defends her company, but Joseph accuses them of being selfish and only caring about their own survival. Joseph has taken Cora's equipment and destroyed some of her belongings and burned her uniform. However, he is interested in her communication device. Joseph gives Cora an ultimatum. If she doesn't activate the device, he will kill her. Blake arrives, and Joseph drinks water from a contaminated source. Cora asks for water, but Joseph pours water on the ground and asks her to drink from the ground. Joseph reveals that he has built a home in the mist, with equipment that allows him to survive. Cora's mask, designed to protect her from the mist, is flawed and harmful to birds and air. Joseph threatens to kill Cora if she doesn't activate the device. He leaves, instructing Blake to guard Cora. Cora tries to escape but is stopped by Blake. Cora manages to free herself and grabs a nearby axe. Blake tries to stop her, but Cora strikes her in the head brutally, and Blake falls to the ground, bleeding profusely. Cora takes Blake's mask and escapes. She finds herself in a difficult situation, navigating the mist without proper equipment. As Cora moves forward, she encounters a woman, Ren, who is sharpening a knife. Cora sneaks up behind Ren and tries to kill her. However, Ren cries out for help, and a man arrives, pointing his gun towards her, but Cora kills Ren. Then Cora takes Ren's clothes and escapes. The man chases her, firing his gun. Cora manages to evade him but is soon attacked by a robotic dragon. She escapes again and continues to move forward. As Cora runs, she is hit by a woman, Baker, who beats her up. However, before Baker can kill Cora, someone shoots and kills her. Cora gets up and escapes, hiding behind a wall. A girl, dressed in a proper uniform and mask who looks similar to Cora, approaches Cora and asks her to follow. Cora is hesitant but follows the girl. Men are firing constantly, but the two girls manage to escape and take refuge in a nearby house. As Cora reaches the house, a man suddenly attacks her, so she falls to the ground. Cora fiercely fights back, pushing the man away, and his mask falls off. He tries to put it back on, but suddenly collapses to the ground, his neck swelling like a balloon and white poison spewing from his mouth. His neck bursts, and he dies. Maybe the house contained poisonous gas, which caused the man's gruesome death. On the other side, a man in uniform and mask is continuously firing shots as he exits the house. Cora shoots and kills him, and his body is drenched in blood. Joseph also enters the house, and Cora senses the presence of people. She starts firing to defend herself, killing Enzo without hesitation. Gacy informs Joseph of Enzo's death. Outside the house, Cora's doppelganger, Gacy, is shot and killed by Cora. Cora challenges Joseph, saying, "It's over," but Joseph angrily retorts, "It's never over." The two engage in a fierce battle. Joseph points his gun at Cora, but she grabs a nearby object and stabs him in the stomach. Joseph falls to the ground, writhing in pain. Cora picks up the gun, checks the remaining bullets, and points it at Joseph. Joseph, still seething with anger, destroys Cora's arm device. Despite having the opportunity to kill Joseph, Cora inexplicably spares his life and leaves. Joseph laughs, saying Cora has become just like him and lies on the ground. Cora exits the house, removes the mask from the dead body, and meets her doppelganger. She is shocked and asks how they look identical. The doppelganger explains that they will go to a safe location, where she will reveal everything. Cora changes her mask and follows her doppelganger. They stop at a location, and the doppelganger asks Cora her name and number. Cora responds with 4A16, and she introduces herself as Cora 95B71. They address each other using their numbers, like a 1 and B7. Cora B7 discovers that they are both part of the Cora project and are manufactured clones. Not only that, but they also have male counterparts, like hundreds of times, who are part of the base team. B7 reveals that she received encrypted files about the Sam and Rika projects. In reality, they are disposable agents sent by the agency to do tasks they wouldn't risk doing themselves. Cora is stunned by this revelation. Moreover, the agency installs bombs in the equipment sent to the clones, which has resulted in the deaths of many clones. B7 was lucky, as the bomb sent to her was defused. Cora B7 wants to take down the agency, but she couldn't do it alone. Now that she has found A1, her doppelganger, she asks for her help in defeating their enemies. A1 agrees, and they go to spend the night at a safe location. B7 enters the house and shuts down the shutter. The room is filled with various equipment and machinery. B7 releases a small, crescent-shaped air balloon that will keep them warm. She gives Cora a safety filter to inject. B7 has been struggling alone for 4 years and has gathered a lot of information, including a map obtained from HQ. Then B7 switches the mask filters and has Cora do the same. After resting, A1 and B7 set out to complete their mission the next morning. As they walk, B7 senses someone's presence and uses her gun's microscope to see a girl from the enemy team. B7 shoots and kills the girl. Then B7 stops and examines the map, pointing out the headquarters, other structures, and blank spots. She shares this information with A1. Then, they choose a sea route and board a boat to head toward their destination. As they sail, they eventually reach a building. They enter the building, guns drawn, and begin to explore. Suddenly, they hear a mysterious voice, which is Adam, calling them to the screen room for a telephone call. B7 stands by the door while A1 answers the call and turns on the screen, revealing Adan. Adan mocks them, saying they are just false experiments. He offers them a deal, promising to reveal their true potential if they work for him. Adan engages in a conversation with A1 while a man with a covered face enters the room. He tells A1 to come with him, but Cora shoots and kills him. The security alarm sounds and guards rush in. A firefight ensues, with B7 and A1 trying to escape. They climb stairs and reach a room with tires and water on the floor. B7 shoots and kills a man while another throws a bomb at her. Cora picks up the bomb and throws it out the window, causing an explosion. The man attacks, but B7 shoots and kills him. She searches for A1 and finds her. B7 is injured and has trouble walking. A1 and B7 escape, but B7's injury slows them down. As they exit, a girl appears and shoots B7. However, B7 dodges and shoots the girl instead. Another man appears, and B7 shoots him as well. A1 kills a man and shoots another girl, Lyle, who had approached her to talk. B7 suddenly gets attacked by a man who shoots her, and the man drags B7 away. The man is furious and shoots B7, injuring her further. The man who shot B7 earlier answers Adan's call, who orders him to release B7 and A1, as Lyle is injured badly. The man agrees, but only if A1 spares Lyle's life. Cora also asks Lyle to get up and go to her partner. The man reluctantly agrees and pushes B7 towards A1. Cora B7 pretends to agree, but instead shoots and kills Lyle. Cora helps B7 escape, and they both flee the scene. I think that accepting Adan's offer might have been a better option for them, considering their critical situation. A1 and B7 manage to escape, but B7's injuries make it difficult for her to walk. As Cora and B7 journey on, Cora sees a hill in the distance and quickly heads towards it. B7, despite her injuries, summons the courage to follow Cora. Cora climbs the rocky hill, while B7, exhausted and wounded, collapses at the base. Cora reaches the top of the hill, and B7 asks her what she sees on the other side. Cora tells B7 that she sees buildings, hundreds of normal people, and a world free from mist, masks, and pollution. She describes a beautiful beach and valley below. However, this is all a lie to give B7 hope. In reality, the other side of the hill is also desolate. B7 vomits blood and collapses, dying. Cora gets down from the rocky hill devastated and removes B7's mask and arm machine, apologizing before leaving. This is a heartbreaking moment, as B7 had spent 4 years trying to free herself from this life, but ultimately failed. Cora gets back on the boat and begins her journey back. As she returns to her area, Cora becomes increasingly exhausted as she faces hurdles. A day turns into night, and rain starts pouring down on her journey. But she refuses to give up. She finally reaches her base the next morning, but finds the basement door open. Cautiously, she enters the basement, finding all the doors open and Joseph badly injured, covered in blood. The entire room is in disarray, with Cora's belongings scattered and broken. Cora is horrified by the sight. Joseph, who had wanted to destroy everything, has succeeded. Enraged, Cora shoots Joseph in the mouth, killing him instantly. Overcome with anxiety, frustration, and exhaustion, Cora collapses to the ground, weeping. Her safety mask's warning alarm sounds, indicating critical oxygen levels and urging her to change the filters. Cora removes her mask, gasping for air, and her breathing becomes labored. She struggles to crawl to the computer and turns it on, but finds no functional controls. Cora picks up her mask and examines it, and the film ends here. If you like this movie, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel.